The Holographic Universe by Michael Talbot is one of the most unusual books about reality, consciousness, physics, and the human mind. It is not simply a science book. It is not simply a spiritual book. And it is not exactly a book about modern holographic physics as the term is used today. It is a book that tries to connect several strange areas of knowledge into one big theory. Michael Talbot asks a radical question. What if the universe is not what it appears to be? What if the physical world, the body, the brain, memory, time, space, and even paranormal experiences are all expressions of a deeper hidden order? The central image of the book is the hologram. A hologram is different from an ordinary photograph. In a normal photograph, each part contains only one section of the image. If you cut the photograph in half, you lose half of the picture. But in a hologram, something stranger happens. Each small piece can still contain the whole image, although with less clarity and less detail. For Talbot, this becomes more than a metaphor. He suggests that the universe itself may be organized in a holographic way. The whole may be enfolded in every part. What looks separate may actually be connected at a deeper level. The book is divided into three main areas. The first is the holographic model of the brain and the cosmos. The second is the relationship between mind and body. The third is the question of space and time. Talbot's goal is to show that many mysterious phenomena, from memory and dreams to near-death experiences and psychic events, might make more sense if reality is holographic. But before going deeper, one thing should be clear. Talbot is not presenting a standard textbook view of science. He is presenting a bold and controversial theory. Some of the scientists he discusses, such as David Bohm and Karl Pribram, were serious thinkers. But many of the conclusions Talbot draws from their ideas go beyond mainstream science. So the book should be understood as a speculative synthesis, a serious attempt to connect physics, neuroscience, psychology, mysticism, and paranormal research into one model of reality. Part 1 of the book is called A Remarkable New View of Reality. It begins with the brain. Talbot introduces the work of Karl Pribram, a neuroscientist who became interested in how memory is stored in the brain. The ordinary idea is simple. We tend to imagine memories as if they are stored in specific places, like files in a cabinet or recordings in a machine. But brain research complicated this picture. Talbot discusses earlier work by scientists such as Wilder Penfield and Carl Lashley. Penfield had found that stimulating certain areas of the brain could bring back vivid memories or experiences in patients. This seemed to suggest that memories might be stored in exact locations. But Lashley's experiments suggested something different. He found that memory did not seem to be stored in one small exact place. Even when parts of an animal's brain were removed, learned behavior was not always erased in a simple one-to-one way. This led to a difficult question. If memory is not stored in one clear location, then where is it? Pribram became interested in the possibility that memory might be distributed across the brain, not stored like a file in one place, but spread out in a pattern. This is where holography enters the book. In a hologram, the whole image is distributed throughout the holographic plate. If you damage part of the plate, the whole image can still appear, though less sharply. Pribram saw a possible comparison with the brain. Perhaps memory is not localized in a simple way. Perhaps it is distributed through the brain in a holographic-like structure. Talbot uses this idea as the first pillar of the book. The brain, according to this model, may work less like a storage box and more like an interpreter of interference patterns. This also leads Talbot to discuss perception. When we see the world, we usually assume that we are seeing reality directly. But the brain does not simply copy the outside world. It receives information through the senses and constructs an experience from it. Light enters the eyes. Signals travel through the nervous system. The brain organizes these signals into a world of objects, distances, colors, shapes, and meanings. Talbot argues that if the brain works holographically, then perception itself may be a kind of decoding process. The world we experience may be constructed from deeper patterns of information. This leads to the second pillar of the book, David Bohm's view of the cosmos. Bohm was a physicist who was deeply dissatisfied with the standard interpretation of quantum mechanics. Quantum physics had already shown that the world at the subatomic level behaves in strange ways. Particles can also act like waves. Observation seems to play a role in what is measured. And separated particles can show correlations that seem to defy ordinary ideas of distance. Talbot focuses especially on Bohm's idea of the implicate order. Bohm believed that the visible world is not the deepest level of reality. He made a distinction between the explicate order and the implicate order. The explicate order is the world we see: objects, people, planets, particles, events, and distances. The implicate order is a deeper hidden order, where things are not separate in the same way. In this deeper order, everything may be enfolded into everything else. To explain this, Talbot uses Bohm's famous image of ink droplets in a cylinder of glycerine. Imagine placing a drop of ink into a thick liquid and rotating the cylinder. The drop seems to stretch out and disappear into the liquid, but if you rotate the cylinder in the opposite direction, the drop can reappear. It was not destroyed. It was enfolded into the system. For Bohm, this was a metaphor for reality. What appears and disappears in the visible world may not truly be created from nothing or destroyed into nothing. It may unfold from a deeper order and then enfold back into it. Talbot connects this idea to the hologram. In a hologram, the whole image is enfolded in every part of the plate. In Bohm's model, the whole universe may be enfolded in every region of space. This is the basic foundation of the holographic universe. Pribram suggests that the brain may work holographically. Bohm suggests that the cosmos itself may be holographic. Talbot then asks, if the brain is holographic and the universe is holographic, perhaps the strange relationship between mind and reality begins to make sense. This is the central bridge of the book. The brain may not simply create consciousness inside the skull. Instead, it may be more like a receiver, translator or lens that unfolds information from a deeper level of reality. From this point, the book moves into part 2, Mind and Body. This is where Talbot becomes more controversial. He begins to apply the holographic model to psychology, dreams, healing, multiple personalities, miracles, and unusual human abilities. In the chapter on psychology, Talbot discusses the idea that dreams and the unconscious may not simply be private fantasies inside the brain. He explores the work of figures such as Montague Ullman, who studied dreams and telepathy, and Stanislav Grof, who studied altered states of consciousness. Talbot suggests that if the mind is connected to a deeper holographic order, then dreams may sometimes open access to information beyond ordinary awareness. In normal life, we experience consciousness as personal and private, but Talbot questions this. He suggests that consciousness may not be limited to the individual brain. The unconscious mind may connect with wider fields of information. This is why the book discusses extrasensory perception, shared dreams, and symbolic experiences. Talbot does not treat these phenomena as random oddities. He tries to place them inside the holographic model. If every part contains information about the whole, then perhaps under certain conditions the mind can access information that would normally seem impossible. This is one of the book's main claims. The holographic model, for Talbot, offers a way to think about non-local knowledge. Non-local means not limited by ordinary location. If reality is deeply interconnected, then information may not be restricted in the way classical physics would suggest. The next major theme is the relationship between mind and body. Talbot argues that the body may also be shaped by deeper patterns of consciousness. He discusses the placebo effect, cases of unusual healing, and cases where belief appears to influence physical condition. The placebo effect is important for Talbot because it shows that belief can produce real physical changes. A person may receive a treatment with no active medical ingredient, but if they believe it is powerful, the body may respond. For Talbot, this is not just a medical curiosity. It suggests that the mind and body are not two separate systems. The body may be more responsive to consciousness than we normally think. He also discusses multiple personality disorder, now more commonly called dissociative identity disorder. Talbot is interested in reports where different personalities within the same individual appear to show different physical symptoms. For example, one personality may have an allergy, a visual problem, or another condition that another personality does not show. Talbot uses these cases to argue that the body may be organized by information patterns, and that changes in consciousness may sometimes change the body's physical expression. Again, this is controversial, but within the logic of the book, it fits. If the body is part of a holographic field, and if consciousness can influence how that field unfolds, then healing, illness, and bodily change may involve more than chemistry alone. The next chapter moves into what Talbot calls miracles. Here, the book becomes even more unusual. Talbot discusses religious phenomena, historical reports of miraculous healing, stigmata, the liquefaction of the blood of San Gennaro, and the French convulsionaries. The convulsionaries were a group of religious devotees in 18th century France who were reported to withstand extreme physical abuse without ordinary injury. Talbot does not simply present these stories as religious wonders. He tries to interpret them through the holographic model. If the body is not as fixed as materialist science assumes, then perhaps extreme states of belief, trance, or collective consciousness can alter the normal rules by which the body operates. He also discusses psychokinesis research, including experiments associated with Robert Jahn and Brenda Dunn at Princeton. Psychokinesis means the alleged ability of mind to influence physical systems. Talbot presents these experiments as possible evidence that consciousness can affect matter, at least slightly. This is one of the book's most debated areas. Mainstream science does not accept many of these claims as proven. But Talbot's purpose is not to stay within accepted boundaries. His purpose is to collect strange data and ask whether the holographic model can explain it. The next chapter deals with seeing. Talbot discusses unusual forms of perception, including reports of auras, human energy fields, and people who claim to sense information beyond normal sight. He includes figures such as Barbara Brennan, who described human energy fields and subtle perception. Again, Talbot is not only interested in whether these reports are strange, he is interested in whether perception itself is more flexible than we assume. If the brain is not simply a passive receiver of sensory information, but an active holographic processor, then perhaps perception can sometimes operate in unusual ways. This does not mean that all claims are true, but in Talbot's model, vision is not merely the eye recording the world. Vision is the mind constructing reality from information. And if the mind can access deeper levels of information, then perception may have hidden capacities. Part 3 of the book moves to space and time. This is where Talbot expands the holographic theory to some of the deepest questions. What is time? What is space? Are past, present, and future truly separate? Or are they also appearances created by the way consciousness unfolds reality? In the chapter on time, Talbot discusses precognition and retrocognition. Precognition means knowledge of future events. Retrocognition means knowledge of past events that could not have been known normally. Talbot includes stories of people who seem to perceive future events, historical scenes, or information from another time. One example discussed in summaries of the book is Stefan Osowiecki, a Polish clairvoyant who was reportedly asked to describe the ancient past of archaeological objects. Talbot uses such cases to suggest that time may not be as linear as we experience it. In ordinary life, time feels like a line. The past is gone, the future has not happened yet, only the present is real. But in the holographic model, Talbot suggests that past, present, and future may all be enfolded in the deeper order. Our consciousness may move through time in a limited way, just as a beam of light reveals one section of a hologram. But the deeper structure may contain much more than the present moment. This idea connects again to Bohm. If reality unfolds from the implicate order, then time may be one of the ways reality becomes visible to us. It may not be the ultimate structure of existence. The next chapter is about space. Talbot discusses out-of-body experiences, near-death experiences, and the possibility that consciousness can experience locations beyond the physical body. A near-death experience often includes reports of leaving the body, seeing from above, entering a tunnel, encountering light, meeting beings, or feeling a state beyond ordinary physical life. Talbot asks whether such experiences could be understood through the holographic model. If consciousness is not produced entirely by the brain, and if space is also a projection from a deeper order, then consciousness might not be strictly located in the body. The body may be the normal focus of consciousness, but not necessarily its absolute prison. This is a major theme of the book. Talbot repeatedly questions the assumption that consciousness is only a byproduct of brain tissue. Instead, he presents the possibility that consciousness and reality are deeply connected aspects of the same underlying field. Out-of-body experiences are important to him because they challenge the idea that perception must always come from the physical senses. If a person reports seeing something from a viewpoint outside the body, Talbot sees this as possible evidence that consciousness can operate non-locally. Again, this is not mainstream science, but it is central to the book. The final chapter is called Return to the Dreamtime. Here Talbot connects the holographic model with mystical traditions, shamanic worldviews, and ancient ideas about reality. He suggests that many spiritual traditions have already described the world as a kind of dream, illusion, projection, or manifestation of a deeper unity. In this final section, the book becomes less about laboratory evidence and more about worldview. Talbot argues that modern science may need to expand its categories if it wants to understand consciousness. He is not saying that science should be abandoned. Rather, he suggests that science may be incomplete if it refuses to study experiences that do not fit its existing assumptions. For Talbot, the holographic universe is a model that might connect many things that usually remain separate: quantum physics, memory, dreams, healing, mystical experience, near-death experience, psychic phenomena, the mind-body relationship, and the structure of space and time. The power of the book is not that it proves all of these things. The power of the book is that it presents them as pieces of one possible pattern. Talbot's argument can be summarized like this. First, the brain may store and process information in a distributed, holographic way. Second, the universe itself may be organized like a hologram, with every part enfolding information about the whole. Third, if the brain and universe share this holographic structure, then consciousness may be able to access reality in ways that go beyond ordinary senses. Fourth, many strange human experiences may not be errors or fantasies, but glimpses of this deeper order. This is the book's central thesis. The ordinary world, according to Talbot, is not false, but it is incomplete. It is like the visible image produced by a hologram. We see objects, bodies, distances, and events. But behind this visible image may be a deeper order where everything is connected. In this deeper order, mind and matter are not completely separate. The observer and the observed are not completely separate. The body and consciousness are not completely separate. Past, present, and future may not be completely separate. This is why Talbot's book feels so radical. It challenges the basic assumptions of ordinary realism. Ordinary realism says the world is made of separate physical objects, moving through empty space, one moment after another. Talbot's holographic model says separation may be only an appearance. Space and time may be projections. The deeper reality may be a unified field of information, consciousness, and matter. At the same time, the book has to be read carefully. Many of the examples Talbot uses are controversial. Reports of psychic phenomena, miraculous healing, auras, and near-death visions are not accepted by all scientists as reliable evidence. Some readers see the book as visionary, others see it as speculative. The most balanced way to read it is this. The holographic universe is not a final proof of a new reality. It is an attempt to build a new framework. It takes serious ideas from Bohm and Pribram, then extends them into areas that mainstream science usually avoids. Some parts are grounded in physics and neuroscience. Some parts are based on case reports and paranormal research. Some parts are philosophical. Some parts are mystical. The book's importance is that it asks one large question. Could the universe be fundamentally informational, interconnected, and consciousness-related? If the answer is yes, then the world is not just a machine. It is more like a vast pattern, a pattern in which every part contains the whole. A pattern in which the brain does not simply record reality, but unfolds it. A pattern in which consciousness is not an accident, but a central feature of existence. This is the summary of Michael Talbot's The Holographic Universe. It is a book about the possibility that the world we experience is only the surface of reality. Behind that surface may be an implicate order, a hidden level, a deeper structure, a super hologram. And in that deeper structure, memory, matter, time, space, body, and mind may all be connected in ways we have not yet fully understood. Whether one accepts the book or not, its central message is clear. Reality may be far stranger, deeper, and more interconnected than ordinary perception suggests.